What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We're here for round 7 of Season 4 of our Jaguar racing career, and we're going to be at the Monaco Grand Prix. It's the big one. It's the one I've been looking forward to, because this is the track where I think I can finally get back on track to get myself in the championship fight a little bit. Last time out, we were at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and after a decent qualifying where we qualified P4, I unfortunately just could not quite deliver on what I was hoping I would be able to do, and we ended up coming home in P6 in that race. We picked up 8 points. You know, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but we just need that little bit more, you know, that podium, that win, something like that, to really reignite our championship hopes a little bit. And I'm hoping that we can get that here in Monaco. You know, last season we were having a really tough time of things to kick things off. We came to Monaco, and all of a sudden we managed to get ourselves on the podium, and we really turned things around from there. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do the same thing here today. And yeah, I am optimistic of our chances. You know, Monaco is a track where I qualify well. This is the pinnacle of sort of the situation I find myself in, where I have really good qualifying pace, but then when we get to the race I perhaps don't have such as good race pace. Race pace is pretty much irrelevant for this circuit. As long as you're not 2 seconds a lap slower than the car behind you, you'll probably be able to keep them behind, and even then you might be able to keep them behind. So yeah, I'm optimistic of our chances of getting a good result here. Despite the fact that we weren't in the top 14 here, I was still pretty happy with the pace I was showing. My consistency, not fantastic, but you know, there's definitely still time to work on that. And besides, I don't necessarily even need consistency around this circuit. As long as I can put together one good lap in Q3 to get myself up into you know, sort of the top 3 at least, preferably on pole, but at least sort of top 3, I think that we will be getting a pretty decent result here. You know, whether it's a win or a podium or whatever, I'm really optimistic of our chances of getting, you know, double digits worth of points minimum here for only the second time this season, of course. The first came in Bahrain when we got that win with fastest lap. It looked like our season was going to be a pretty good one after all, and since then things have just not quite been working out the way we wanted them to. As you can see on our first flying lap here in Q1, we got a bit blocked by Sergio Perez, so definitely there'll be some room for improvement on our second flying lap. And yeah, whatever time this is, we will be able to improve on it quite significantly. It's a 1:10.6. It's not awful, but it definitely can be improved a little bit. It was good enough for P6 when we set the time, and we'll see what we can do on our second flying lap here. Perhaps unsurprisingly, we improved by quite a lot even before we got to the section where we were blocked by Perez a little bit. We were still 6 or 7 tenths of a second up. We end up just under 9 tenths of a second faster, 109.7, very comfortably into the 109s, and that is good enough for P2. Nice stuff. If we can continue that through Q2 and Q3, I will be very happy with that. Kevin Magnussen as well in P4. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. We're only 5 thousandths of a second off of Théo Pourchaire there as well. Everyone pretty close here. You can see Joe was very close to making it through, but not quite. He was knocked out alongside Tsunoda, Lawson, Stroll, De Vries and Fittipaldi. Once again, the 2 Hasses making it through, but Logan Sargent just barely. And Nico Hülkenberg actually was super close to Albon there as well. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe the Hasses can get themselves among the top 7 teams on this occasion. We will see what they're capable of doing as we make our way to Q2. This is a banker run on a used set of soft compound tyres, so whatever time this is, I am sure I'll be able to improve it. It's a 1:10.2. I definitely think, you know, we did a 1:09.7 in Q1, so I'm hoping that we can get at least that sort of level of performance out of the car once again. And you can see that as we make our way into Rascasse in the final couple of corners, we are improving by about as much as you would expect. We're almost improving by 5 tenths. I think we're just going to be into the 109.7s again here, and that should hopefully be good enough to see us through to the next session. It is, but only in P5 this time, so I think we're going to need a bit more improvement in Q3. You know, hopefully we can get ourselves into the sort of mid to low 109s. I think it should be possible. Magnussen making it through with us as well. He's in P7. Meanwhile, quite a few surprising eliminations here. Hauger not so much, but Verstappen, one of the championship protagonists, is out in Q2. Perez is out as well, another championship protagonist. Ocon, perhaps not too surprising with him. And then the two Hasses, as you would expect, Sargent and Hulkenberg, have been eliminated in 15th and 16th, as they very often are at this stage in the championship. But yeah, with Verstappen and Perez out, I wonder who will be walking away with the victory this weekend, because I doubt it will be one of those guys. Maybe it will be Norris again. He obviously won in Imola. Maybe he'll be able to win again here in Monaco. My first flying lap on a used set of soft compound tyres was a 1:10.0 this time, so I'm really optimistic about our chances of hopefully, you know, getting into the mid to low 109s. But as we make our way onto our final flying lap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, you can see I haven't really improved very much. For some reason I just couldn't get this hooked up. I'm knocking into the walls and all kinds of stuff. You know, this is really not the lap I wanted whatsoever. We're actually about a 10th down as we go through Anthony Nogues. We do improve going through there, and I think it's going to be a very, very marginal improvement as we come up to the line. It's actually not, I don't think. And it's still a 1:10.0, which puts us P7. So we kind of fumbled the bag a little bit there, all things considered.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Albon, Norris and Oscar Piastri. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So Alex Albon picking up pole. It's myself in P7 and Magnussen gets P9. Looking at the times there, I definitely think P3 at minimum should have been possible for me based on the performance level that I was showing throughout the previous couple of qualifyings. You know, if we'd have got that little margin of improvement that we were looking for in Q3, I actually do think that we would have been starting in the top three. So this is immensely disappointing. You know, it's not over. There definitely is the potential for us to make up a position or two off the start, probably. But yeah, I think things got a little bit harder. Throw in the fact that it looks like it might rain towards the end of the session, and we'll see what we can do as we get into the Monaco Grand Prix.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but we still race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There is no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Alex Albon will lead us away from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, Théo Pourchaire, Robinson, Sainz, Magnussen, Gasly, Verstappen, Ocon, Perez, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Joe, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, De Vries, Hauger, Fittipaldi, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Yep, I definitely think points at minimum should be possible here. Hopefully we can get ourselves maybe into the top 5 if we can jump a couple cars off of the start here. But yeah, I'm still just a little bit disappointed over everything that happened in qualifying. I really think we've thrown away the opportunity to get a podium, maybe even win here in Monaco. And yeah, I don't think I'll be able to let that one go easily. But anyway, we've got to try and put that one behind us as quickly as we possibly can. There should still be an opportunity for us to get at least sort of 10 points here, maybe more. Maybe there'll be a bit of chaos up front, and we'll be able to make some more positions. But yeah, definitely not quite the result we would be wanting. But in any case, let's move on from that and let's focus on the here and now, and we will see what we can do as the lights come on. and the lights go out as we switch to the replay camera, and you can see that I believe that is Albon has gotten away nicely. We've immediately jumped, I believe that is Pourchaire behind us, and Magnussen was actually looking like he was going to go for a move on Pourchaire as well. So yeah, Magnussen looking pretty racy. He's already made up one position as well, as of we, and hopefully Magnussen will be able to score some good points here. Now we'll see, maybe we can put some pressure on Charles Leclerc in front here, dive at the inside, not only of him, but also of George Russell, and we are wheel to wheel with George Russell on the run down to the hairpin. Is he going to fight me back into the hairpin? It looks like he is a little bit. We have to go all the way to the outside to make a bit of contact with his front right tyre to my rear left tyre, but we do manage to both make it through the corner just about, but we are up into P4 as a result of that. So that is exactly what I was hoping would happen at the start of this race, and now maybe we'll see if we can set after Oscar Piastri in the McLaren and the other drivers up front, Norris and Albon as well. Definitely the race started out a little bit better than I was expecting it would do. I was thinking maybe we'd make up 1, perhaps 2 positions, and we've made up 3 so far. So we'll see if we can keep going, keep progressing through the field, and just make sure we don't fall back into the clutches of the cars behind. Fortunately, I didn't pick up any damage from that contact with Russell. It was pretty close. I think our tyres made contact, but if he'd have hit my side pods, then we might have been looking at a very, very different race here. So yeah, we're lucky to escape any damage on that one. You can see my tyres now starting to overheat a little bit as we make our way onto lap 4, and that is inviting George Russell back into the fight. And well, my braking performance on the car as a result of the tyres overheating is also starting to tail off a little bit, and that actually caused me to squeeze out George Russell a little bit into Sandoval. Fortunately, you know, he didn't sustain any damage from that, I don't think, but it did allow Leclerc to get ahead of him in the end, and well, that probably is not what George Russell would have wanted. He ended up losing a position trying to gain one, and in a championship where every point matters to try and get an advantage over your rivals, you know, when you think about how closely packed the championship fight is at the moment, literally anything could be the difference between you winning the championship and not winning it at this point. So yeah, George Russell maybe a little bit annoyed with me over that one, but it was the braking performance of my car. I just could not get it stopped quickly enough. The tyres overheating a lot at the moment, and that is what has caused me to be so far down on Piastri at this point. I have managed to keep Leclerc at bay just about, but you can see the gap to Piastri in front is a pretty sizable one at this point. 10 seconds to him. Norris just in front of him, about 1.5 seconds up the road from him, and then it looks like, if you look on the mini-map, that Albon is probably about maybe another 4 or 5 seconds up the road from Lando Norris. We tap the wall there. We do manage to just about you know, avoid damage, but definitely still we want to be careful not to do that too many more times. They're actually recommending that I box this lap. I thought that might have been for the tap on the wall, but we didn't get any damage, so I actually think that maybe they just think that this is the right strategy to go for, to box 5 laps early and then see what we can do on the hard tyres for 25 laps. I know they'll last, because the hard tyres do last. They last basically the whole Grand Prix around Monaco. But still, nonetheless, it is quite early to be boxing a 5-lap undercut. We'll see if we can make this work. I guess the 2 people who we have to be paying the most attention to are going to be Piastri, who was 10 seconds ahead of us. If we can make up 2 seconds per lap on him, we can actually undercut him. And, you know, 5-lap undercut could be potentially incredibly powerful. It might make us a bit susceptible to him at the end. But even then, you know, it's Monaco. We don't need to defend like hell. We can just defend a normal amount, and we should be able to keep him behind, even on older tyres. And then the other driver I would want to pay attention to has got to be Charles Leclerc. See what the gap to him will be once he's pitted as well, because that will determine how easy things are going to be towards the end of the race, I would imagine. We've caught up with Sergio Perez, who's having an absolute stinker of a race down in 14th. Don't forget that he's one of the championship protagonists at the moment. I think he's currently sitting in 2nd place in the championship, and we've just overtaken him for 14th into Portier. He's going to try and come back at us a little bit, but we managed to keep him at bay, and now we're going to set after Zhou Guanyu. Hopefully he won't be as difficult to overtake as he was in Imola last time out, when I also went for a bit of an undercut. But we will see what we can do. I had a massive scrap with him and Tsunoda over that. I believe it was about P4 15 or something like that. So we're going to try and get ahead of him nice and quickly, go around the outside at Raskas, can't quite pull off the move, brake a little bit deep. We'll see if we can get a better run than him through Anthony Nogues, get the DRS, bounce on the accelerator with the ERS as well, and we'll try and go around the outside at Sandavot, but he just about covers us off. We make a bit of contact with his rear wing there, have to be careful to make sure I don't get any damage on my front wing, but yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous, and he's once again kind of defended through that fast left-hander as well, and now he covers me off on the run down to I can't even remember the name of this corner, a fake fan evidently. Finally on the outside we do manage to get past him, but goodness me, that he held us up way longer than he should have done really, and that is very, very disappointing. So yeah, we're just going to have to see if we can make sure we don't get held up to quite that degree by anyone else. We catch up with Logan Sargent here into lap 19. We're going to try and go around the outside of him at Sandavot. That goes a lot better than our attempted move on Zhou Guanyu went. So we're now up into P10. I think a few people have started to pit, especially those who started on the soft compound tyres. Anyone who started on the mediums or the hards will probably be boxing this lap or the next. You would have to imagine, and that will include the likes of Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, all of these people. So we'll see where we come out in relation to them. Leclerc in the pits, we're going to be jumping him. Sainz yet to pit, so he's still ahead of us. But Piastri still a very sizable chunk up the road from us. We definitely couldn't quite make the strategy work with the undercut. We managed to make up about 3 seconds to him overall, I would say. So it wasn't a bad attempt, but I think getting caught in that traffic really hampered me. I probably lost, 5 seconds or more doing those overtakes. So that's the downside of the undercut, is that you have to be very confident in your ability to overtake. And at circuits where overtaking is easy, the undercut has the potential to be extremely powerful. But at a place like this, I just don't think it is quite the case. So yeah, Piastri and Norris still comfortably ahead of us. Leclerc now 6.7 seconds behind us. So it should be at least a few laps before he catches up to us. But by the time we make it to the end of lap 24 to begin lap 25, Leclerc is actually within our DRS range. So yeah, we might not have things all our own way. He was absolutely rapid. I was overheating the tyres again a little bit on these hard compound tyres. I don't know what it is at the moment. I just can't seem to keep my tyres cool no matter how hard I try. If anyone in the comments has any advice on any sort of setup alteration I can do or anything like that to make sure that I don't overheat my tyres quite as much, or maybe some alteration to my driving style or something like that, because this really does not feel sustainable that I am absolutely destroying the tyres in every single race I do at the moment. This is Esteban Ocon. He's having a big moment out of Anthony Nogues, and I think he might actually be out of the race. His tyre does not seem to be facing the right way. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that brings out a safety car, or maybe something even more extreme than that. But yeah, what a big moment for Esteban Ocon there, as we do get a safety car, and very shortly afterwards that gets upgraded to a red flag, which actually might be good for us. If we can get another good start, we might be able to jump 1 or 2 more cars on the restart going into Sandavot. However, one thing that might put a bit of a spanner in the works here is that it is going to be raining by the time the race gets restarted. So we're going to be restarting the race on the intermediate compound of tyre. Now, I wonder, will we be able to get ahead of Oscar Piastri on these inters? And the lights go out, and we have not had a good getaway on these intermediate tyres whatsoever. In fact, we might be a little bit susceptible to Russell or Leclerc behind. I think we've just about managed to keep them behind, but we will not be getting ahead of Oscar Piastri into Sandavot. And this podium, I think, might be out of our reach now, unless we can do something to try and get ahead of him on this opening lap before he starts to break away from us again. On the intermediate tyres, I am almost certain we're going to overheat these ones nice and quickly. We're going to try and dive up the inside, but we can't quite make the move stick. No matter how hard we try, we just can't quite manage to make it work. And yeah, I thought about even maybe going around the outside at the hairpin. Can't do that one either. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to just cede this position to Oscar Piastri. He's going to get a better exit from Portier than we are, and that is that one basically done and dusted. By the time that we catch up again on lap 34, Oscar Piastri is over 2 seconds up the road, and now we have to worry about not overheating our tyres so much that we lose track position to the cars behind. We're building up a fairly big train behind us. It's Russell, then Leclerc, and then I believe Magnussen in P7, so he's doing pretty well as Russell tries to go up the inside, and we actually make a tiny bit of contact there, I think. No damage once again, but I am very lucky not to have any damage in this race, to be perfectly honest with you, because I have had a number of contact moments. We are on simulation damage, so I would not have been surprised at all if we'd have picked up some damage. We're now looking at, I believe this is Dennis Hauger, who for the third time in 4 races is going to be retiring from the Grand Prix. Things have not been going his way so far this season. He had the crash in Baku, the DNF in Miami, and now a DNF in Monaco. And as we make our way onto the end of lap 34, you can see George Russell once again makes contact with us as he tries to force his way through up the inside at Rascasse. But I say no thank you, George Russell. And yeah, we managed to just about keep him behind, but we have lost many seconds to Piastri on this lap due to all this fighting with George Russell. So yeah, we can kiss goodbye to any chance of getting a podium in this race. Fortunately, we didn't come under too much more pressure from George Russell for the remainder of the race. After that point, we make our way onto lap 39, and yeah, he is about a second down on us now. So as long as we don't absolutely bottle it, I think we should be absolutely fine to get this P4. It will be 12 points in the championship, which might go a long way, hopefully, into helping us sort of get back into the fight a little bit. And as we make our way into the final sector now, we are just going to have to bring this one home nice and easy. Don't take any unnecessary risks, don't do anything stupid, and we should be absolutely fine. Albon, I believe, wins his first Formula 1 Grand Prix. He obviously won the sprint in Baku, but he wins an actual Grand Prix here in Monaco. Very good job by Alex Albon, and we are going to round the final corner and come home to finish P4.
It's the one that everybody wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
Alex Albon is a Formula 1 race winner. Very, very solid stuff from him. He is flanked by Lando Norris, who actually might take over the lead of the championship off the back of this. I know he was quite close to the top. And then Oscar Piastri, who's also having a very good season. The two McLarens both having a really strong season. And we are going to need to start scoring some good points if we don't want to get left behind in this championship, I think. But yeah, a great performance from Albon, and, well, hopefully the first of many wins.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Lando Norris takes the lead at the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
But it's absolutely got to be Alexander Albon, no hesitation. He put in a performance today that's only going to build further upon his already growing reputation.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren supplant the previous leaders, taking control of the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
Once again, things are drastically changing in the championship. We are now up to P7 in the drivers, which is nice, but we've still got a long way to go to get to the top. 37 points down on Lando Norris, who now leads the championship off the back of that race. And in the constructors, we are now pretty close to Aston Martin, so I'm hoping another good race over them, and we should be able to get ahead of Kevin Magnussen's former team, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to beat them in the constructors as we make our way up to P3 in the constructors at minimum. I don't know if we'll quite be able to win the constructors this season. McLaren are already 70 points ahead of us in the championship, so it's going to take a lot, but I am nonetheless optimistic about our chances of being able to do that. And well, yeah, all things considered, this wasn't bad. This wasn't a bad race, considering that we have not had a top 5 finish this season since Bahrain. That's the only top 5 finish me and Kevin Magnussen had up until this point. To have another one here is pretty good. 12 points and then another 6 for Magnussen as well, as he finished 7th. So yeah, some solid results from myself and K-Mag. But once again, it's just the same problem again, I think, is that we're just not scoring enough points for us to be considered a genuine championship threat, I wouldn't say. Are we having a really, like, decent season? Yes, absolutely we are. But for someone who wants to be winning a Drivers' Championship, the season needs to be more than decent. It needs to be good. And that means that things really need to start turning around sooner rather than later. If I'm not mistaken, the next race is the Canadian Grand Prix. And of course, that was the track where I got my first win. It's a track where I have bags of pace around, especially if I find myself on the right tyres at the right time, like I did in Season 2 when I picked up that victory. But you know, we need a podium there, minimum we need a podium. Preferably I'd like to get another victory there if I possibly could, but the podium has to be the absolute minimum target there, I would say, because it's just, you know, otherwise we're going to be left in the dust in these two championships. My number one priority is that P3 in the Constructors' Championship, because that is the sponsorship bonus that is going to help us continually improve our teammate and improve, you know, all those kinds of things that we will need in order to be able to one day fight for the Constructors' Championship. I would say that this season it won't be feasible. I just don't think that we have the facilities, and even if we did have the facilities, I don't know if Kevin Magnussen would quite be the driver to lead us there. You know, obviously he was my fourth choice when it came to signing a teammate. So yeah, that is not quite the sort of optimal situation that we find ourselves in. He's been decent for what we're trying to do this season, but I could definitely use somebody a little bit better, and hopefully we'll be able to attract someone like that for next season. But yeah, for the time being, we're going to need to just do everything we can to try and get back into this championship fight, and that will begin in the next video in Canada. So that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.